If baseball had a most wanted list, Rickey Henderson might have topped it. Sure, he stole bases like it was his job, but did you know he also had a habit of getting into trouble off the field? Let's dive into the records and his legal troubles. Rickey Henley Henderson was born on December 25, 1958, in Chicago, Illinois. On Christmas night, in an Oldsmobile on the way to the hospital, his 19-year-old mother, Bobby Earl, gave birth to her fourth child, Rickey Nelson Henley. Though he was born in Chicago, Rickey moved around a lot in his early years, as his mother sought better opportunities for her family. With minimal support from his father, they eventually settled in Oakland, California, after a stint in Arkansas. Growing up in a big family with 4 brothers and 2 sisters, Rickey quickly became a standout athlete in Oakland. He excelled in baseball, basketball, and football, earning a reputation as the next big thing in the city. A real well-rounded fella, his speed was remarkable, making him a dominant football player in high school. Although his dream was to play professional football, his baseball skills were equally impressive. When he finished high school, he faced a tough decision: accept a college football scholarship or jump straight into professional baseball. His mother, knowing his dreams but also recognizing his talent, decided baseball was the better path. She couldn't have been more right. A few months after high school, Rickey was drafted by Oakland in the 4th round. Unsurprisingly, he did really well in the minor leagues, especially in 1977 when he stole 95 bases. His manager, Tom Trebelhorn, was a huge part of his success, since he helped him gain that confidence and lean into that aggressive attitude on the base paths. This was pretty evident in his playing style, am I right? Trebelhorn taught Rickey how to steal bases by studying Lou Brock and watching videos of how pitchers moved. This helped Rickey understand that stealing bases wasn't just about being fast, but much more than that. Lo and behold, this training made him one of the best base stealers out there. Imagine this: the pitcher is nervous. Rickey steps further from first base, and then, in a flash, he's safely on second base. Back in the days of the early 1980s, being an Oakland A's fan meant watching Rickey Henderson turn walks into doubles and doubles into triples. He was flashy, confident, and incredibly talented, making even casual fans excited about baseball. No wonder he had such a loyal fan base. It's true he often seemed distant, especially with those outside the left field bleachers where he chatted with fans. But there was more to Rickey than met the eye. Beneath his confident exterior, he was a complex person, with layers that hinted at something deeper, perhaps something that was disturbing. Henderson faced a serious accusation. A multi-million-dollar lawsuit claimed that he repeatedly molested his younger half-sister, Paula Henderson, during their childhood in Oakland. According to the lawsuit filed in Alameda County Superior Court, the Oakland A's starting left fielder, who is often considered the greatest leadoff hitter ever, sexually assaulted Paula Henderson while under the influence of cocaine and marijuana. These assaults allegedly began when Paula was just 8 years old and continued into her teenage years. Paula reportedly suppressed these memories until the year she gave birth to her first child. Rickey Henderson, then 35, issued a statement before a game against Texas at the Oakland Coliseum, stating that the allegations were totally untrue and promising to fight them in court if necessary. In response, Henderson accused his half-sister of slander and invasion of privacy, claiming she is trying to extort money from him. He didn't waste a second before filing these accusations in court papers in Alameda County Superior Court. He asked a judge to keep the details of his half-sister's lawsuit private. He said the accusations have hurt his chances to get endorsements and that they might affect his chance to get into the Hall of Fame. He also said the claims have hurt his family. "I can't explain to my 3 daughters why their aunt would say such terrible lies about me," Henderson said. Paula Henderson said he used his role as a father figure to make her think the assaults were normal. Her lawyer, Dan Horowitz, said he would drop the $3 million lawsuit if Rickey Henderson agrees to go to therapy sessions with his half-sister. If you'd like to keep hearing these insane life stories of your favorite baseball players, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to always stay updated on our latest releases. Believe it or not, that's not the only troubling news that has surfaced involving the baseball superstar. In July 1991, in New York City, Rickey was mentioned in a complaint by a woman named Sandra Salarinatin. She said Henderson hit her in the face during an argument in his hotel room at the Grand Hyatt around 3 a.m. on Tuesday morning. The police said Henderson hit her above her left eye with the back of his hand. Salary had bruises but didn't need medical treatment. It wasn't clear what caused the argument, but both had been drinking, said Sergeant Tina Mormon. Salary husband called the police after the argument, though it's unclear if he was there during it. He claimed Henderson hit her after she said no to having a physical relationship with him. But surprisingly, Henderson wasn't charged with anything. He was staying at the Grand Hyatt with the Athletics at the time. Later that day at Yankee Stadium, Henderson denied hitting Salary and signed autographs before the game. Henderson said he was at the Grand Hyatt's bar with Salary and her friend. He said he and Oakland trainer Barry Weinberg later went upstairs alone and had no further contact with Salary. "I don't really know what happened, so I can't tell my side of the story," Henderson said before the game with the Yankees. "I was at the bar, and Barry and I went upstairs alone. She was drunk and being difficult in the bar," he added. "She was a tall girl, and no one was going to mess with her." A's Vice President Sandy Alderson said Henderson told him he briefly went upstairs with Salary, but assured him nothing bad happened. Weinberg agreed with Henderson, saying, "I went up with him in the elevator, just the two of us. Seems like he's got a real issue with women. It's obvious his public image was shaky at best and downright awful at worst, but his career was a stark contrast. He had one success after another, right from his career's fateful start. He played in the minor leagues from 1976 to 1979. He then began playing in the major leagues with the Oakland Athletics in June 1979. Despite being a right-handed batter, he threw the ball with his left hand. Henderson quickly became known for his speed and usually batted first in the lineup. In his first full season in 1980, he became only the third player in modern baseball history to steal 100 bases in a season, breaking Cobb's American League record of 96 bases. This was the start of 7 straight seasons, where Henderson led the American League in stolen bases. In 1982, he broke Lou Brock's record by stealing 130 bases in a single season, surpassing Brock's 1974 record of 118 stolen bases. He eventually became baseball's greatest base stealer of all time when he stole his 939th base in 1991. Breaking Brock's major league record. By the end of the 2002 season, Henderson had a total of 1,403 career stolen bases. Oakland traded Henderson to the New York Yankees after the 1984 season. He returned to the Athletics during the 1989 season and helped them win the World Series. Naturally, in 1990, he was chosen as the American League's most valuable player, MVP. He hit 28 home runs, scored 119 runs, stole 65 bases, and had a batting average of 3 on 25. By mid-1993, Henderson was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays, where he won another World Series. Clearly, this man didn't know how to quit. Later in his career, Henderson played for several teams: Oakland, San Diego Padres, Anaheim Angels, New York Mets, and Seattle Mariners. He basically went all over the place. And despite his, let's just be real, intense personality, Athletics fans still voted Henderson as Oakland's Player of the Century. Many fans thought Henderson would retire after his success by 2001, but he kept playing. His final major league game was in September 2003, and he played in minor leagues for 2 more years. He finally officially retired from baseball in 2007. 2 years later, he was chosen for the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. According to George Steinbrenner, former Yankees chairman, there was only one Rickey Henderson in baseball. He was the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. After retiring, Henderson stayed in baseball. The Mets hired him in 2006 to teach hitting and stealing techniques. He became first base coach in 2007, but then left in 2008. By 2017, he was working with Oakland as a special assistant to President David Kaval. That year, Oakland named its playing field after Henderson, and in 2018, they placed a statue of him in front of the Oakland Coliseum. Even though he's no longer playing, Rickey Henderson's impact on baseball clearly remains strong as ever. One of the darkest moments in baseball has to be the infamous Seagull incident. Even Dave Winfield's biggest fans had a hard time defending him after that. But that wasn't the only controversy in his career. Contract disputes and heated feuds followed him, making headlines just as much as his on-field performances. One of the most infamous moments came during a game against the Toronto Blue Jays when he was warming up between innings. He tossed a ball, just part of his routine, But in a freak accident, it struck and killed a seagull. It was a shocking moment, and to make matters worse, he was actually charged with animal cruelty. Of course, the charges were later dropped, but the incident stuck with him. Even today, when people talk about Winfield, the seagull incident always seems to come up. But if you think that was the only drama tied to Winfield's name, think again. His time with the New York Yankees was filled with tension, mostly thanks to his rocky relationship with team owner George Steinbrenner. The two simply did not get along. Steinbrenner was never shy about criticizing Winfield, especially when it came to his postseason performances. He felt Winfield wasn't living up to expectations and wasn't afraid to call him out publicly. Things got so bad that Steinbrenner reportedly even hired a private investigator to dig up dirt on him. That's how deep the feud ran. And then there were the contract disputes. Winfield signed a massive deal with the Yankees, but it led to constant battles over salary and contract details. Steinbrenner, never one to back down from a fight, frequently clashed with Winfield over money. The media picked up on it, and before long, Winfield had a reputation, not just as a star player, but as someone who could be tough to deal with. Some saw him as overly confident, maybe even a little arrogant, and his refusal to waive his no-trade clause only added to that perception. By the end of his Yankees tenure, his name was constantly floating around in trade rumors. It seemed like every other week, there was talk of him being shipped off to another team. But Winfield wasn't about to let anyone push him around. He had his contract, he had his say, and he wasn't going to just roll over because Steinbrenner wanted him gone. No matter the controversies, Winfield's influence on the game is undeniable. In 1969, he earned a full baseball scholarship to play for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. But baseball wasn't the only sport where he shined. Winfield was a two-sport athlete, excelling in both baseball and basketball. He wasn't just good, he was dominant. During the 1971-72 season, he helped lead the Gophers basketball team to a Big Ten Conference championship, a huge accomplishment for the program. In fact, it was their first outright Big Ten title in over 5 decades. That's the kind of impact Winfield had. Wherever he went, success seemed to follow. But his time on the basketball court wasn't without its drama. In the 1972-73 season, when Minnesota faced off against Ohio State, tensions boiled over into an all-out brawl. It was one of those moments that college basketball fans wouldn't forget anytime soon, and it only added to Winfield's reputation as an intense competitor. While basketball was a big part of his college career, baseball was where he truly made his mark. During the summers of 1971 and 1972, he took his talents to Alaska, playing for the Alaska Gold Panners of Fairbanks. The level of competition was high, but Winfield thrived, proving he was more than ready for the next step. In 1972, he was named the team's MVP, a sign of things to come. Then came 1973, the year Winfield cemented himself as a future baseball star. He was named an All-American and completely dominated in the College World Series, earning MVP honors, not as a power hitter, but as a pitcher. That's right, before he became a feared slugger in the big leagues, he was making waves on the mound. His ability to both pitch and hit at an elite level made him one of the most exciting prospects in the country. And that's when things really got interesting. When the 1973 drafts rolled around, Winfield wasn't just on baseball's radar, he was on everybody's radar. He was so talented that professional teams from 3 different sports tried to bring him aboard. The San Diego Padres selected him with the 4th overall pick in the MLB draft, intending to use him as a pitcher. But baseball wasn't the only sport that saw his potential. The Atlanta Hawks took a chance on him in the 5th round of the NBA draft, while the Utah Stars of the ABA also picked him up in the 6th round. And if that wasn't crazy enough, the Minnesota Vikings, despite the fact that Winfield had never even played college football, selected him in the 17th round of the NFL draft. That's almost unheard of. To this day, Winfield remains one of only 5 athletes to ever be drafted in 3 different professions. Even more impressively, he's one of just 3 players, along with Carter and McCarty, to be drafted by 4 different leagues. That level of raw athleticism is almost impossible to find. After all that attention from multiple sports, Winfield ultimately chose baseball, and his decision paid off in a big way. The San Diego Padres took him with the 4th overall pick in the first round of the 1973 MLB draft, a move that immediately signaled how much potential they saw in him. Not long after, Winfield signed with the Padres, and instead of being sent to the minors like most young prospects, they promoted him directly to the major leagues, a big vote of confidence. Though Winfield had been drafted as a pitcher, the Padres saw something special in his bat. His power was undeniable, and they didn't want to waste it by having him just pitch. So they moved him to the outfield, specifically to right field, where his powerful arm could still be put to use. It didn't take long for Winfield to make an impact. In his rookie season, he hit 277 over 56 games, pretty solid for someone who was making the transition from pitcher to everyday player. But that was just the beginning. Over the next several years, Winfield really started to show what he was capable of. He became a key player for the Padres, gradually developing into an all-star. His ability to hit both for power and average grew year by year, and by 1977, he earned his first all-star appearance, playing in the game at none other than Yankee Stadium. What a stage for his first big moment. Winfield's rise didn't stop there. In 1978, the Padres recognized his leadership on and off the field and made him the team captain, a huge honor that spoke to the respect he had earned from his teammates in the organization. But the best was yet to come. In 1979, he had one of the best seasons of his career. He batted an impressive .308, hit 34 home runs, and drove in 118 RBIs. Numbers like those were a clear indication of just how much Winfield had come into his own as a top-tier player in the league. After another successful season in 1980, Winfield was ready for a new chapter. He played one more season with the Padres, but after that, he became a free agent, setting the stage for his next big move in his baseball journey. In December 1980, Dave Winfield's career took a major turn when New York Yankees owner George Steinbrenner made him the highest-paid player in baseball at the time. Steinbrenner signed him to a 10-year, $23 million contract, a deal that was worth a whopping $85.1 million in today's money. However, there was a big mix-up in the negotiations. Steinbrenner mistakenly thought the deal was for $16 million, not realizing the contract included a cost-of-living clause, which caused a huge misunderstanding between him and Winfield. This led to one of the most infamous public feuds in baseball history between Winfield and Steinbrenner. Despite the drama over the contract, Winfield's talent was undeniable. He quickly became one of the top players in the game. His first year with the Yankees was solid, and his contributions were key to the team's success in 1981, when they won the American League pennant. Winfield's performance during the AL Division Series that year was impressive. He batted .350, hitting 2 doubles, a triple, and made some crucial defensive plays. It was one of his standout performances, but unfortunately, his World Series showing didn't live up to the hype. In the 6-game series against the Los Angeles Dodgers, Winfield struggled at the plate, and the Yankees lost. After getting his only hit of the series, Winfield joked, asking for the ball from the game, but Steinbrenner didn't take it as a joke and criticized him publicly, fueling their ongoing tension. Interestingly, many commentators later pointed out that Winfield's struggles in the World Series weren't that much worse than the struggles of his teammates. For example, Reggie Jackson and Graig Nettles, both key players, were injured during the series, and together they only had 1 combined RBI, the same as Winfield. The Yankees' offense in general was inconsistent, but Steinbrenner's focus on Winfield became the center of attention. Winfield didn't let it bother him too much. He came back strong in 1982, hitting 37 home runs and proving he was still one of the best players in the game. But the drama didn't end there. In August of 1983, a bizarre incident occurred during a game in Toronto that would forever be tied to Winfield's name. While warming up before the 5th inning, Winfield threw a ball that hit and killed a seagull at Toronto's Exhibition Stadium. Fans went wild, hurling insults and objects onto the field in anger. The situation escalated quickly, and Winfield was taken to a nearby police station and charged with cruelty to animals. He was released after posting a $500 bond, and the charges were dropped the following day. Despite the tension, Winfield handled it well, even returning to Toronto later that offseason to donate paintings for a charity auction that raised over $60,000. For years after that, whenever Winfield played in Toronto, fans would stand and flap their arms like wings, a reference to the seagull incident. On the field, Winfield continued to be one of the top players in NBL. From 1981 through 1984, he was among the most effective run producers in the league. In 1984, he had a phenomenal season, battling for the batting title with his teammate, Don Mattingly. It came down to the very last day of the season, but Mattingly edged him out by just 0.003 points. Still, Winfield finished with a remarkable 340 batting average, and despite some fans leaning toward Mattingly in the race, Winfield took it in stride. He even compared it to the competition between Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris during the 1961 home run race. But Winfield's relationship with Steinbrenner was far from smooth. In 1985, Steinbrenner made headlines by publicly criticizing Winfield, saying, "Where is Reggie Jackson? We need a Mr. October or a Mr. September. Winfield is Mr. May." This comment stung because it came after a season where Winfield had struggled in the postseason, and Steinbrenner was looking for someone to step up when it mattered most. The nickname Mr. May stuck with Winfield for years, even though many believed his postseason struggles had been exaggerated compared to those of other players on the team. As the late 1980s progressed, Steinbrenner's disdain for Winfield grew more public. He leaked false and derogatory stories about him to the press, and as the Yankees manager was pressured to bench Winfield or move him down in the batting order. Even though Winfield continued to put up great numbers, including driving in 744 RBIs between 1982 and 1988, Steinbrenner seemed intent on making life difficult for him. Winfield also earned 7 Gold Glove awards for his stellar defense in the outfield, showing just how complete a player he was, yet Steinbrenner's personal vendetta overshadowed his accomplishments. In 1989, Winfield's career took an unexpected turn. He missed the entire season due to a back injury, a major setback for a player who had been so reliable for so many years. When 1990 came around, it was the last year of his contract with the Yankees, but things didn't improve. His spring training was rough, and he was eventually relegated to being the designated hitter, at first just against left-handed pitchers. But it soon became clear that Steinbrenner had no intention of playing him regularly. The relationship between Winfield and the Yankees hit a breaking point, and a trade seemed imminent. On May 11, 1990, Winfield refused to be traded when the Yankees tried to work out a deal with the California Angels. But things took a strange turn when the Yankees management insisted on trading him for pitcher Mike Witt. Winfield stood his ground, citing his 10-5 rights, meaning he could not be traded without his approval after 10 years in the majors and 5 years with the same team. The situation became even more bizarre when Angels owner Gene Autry stepped in and offered Winfield a 3-year contract extension. Despite the drama, Winfield ended up playing for the Angels, hitting 19 home runs in 112 games for the rest of the 1990 season. Meanwhile, Steinbrenner's relationship with Winfield continued to spiral downward. In a desperate attempt to patch things up, Steinbrenner told Winfield he'd be welcome back to the Yankees if he won an arbitration case. But it was too little. Too late. By then, Steinbrenner was already under investigation by MLB Commissioner Fay Vincent for his involvement with Howard Spira, a known gambler with mafia ties, whom Steinbrenner had paid $40,000 to dig up embarrassing information on Winfield. This scandal blew up, and Steinbrenner was banned from baseball for life. While the suspension only lasted 2 years, it was clear that his relationship with Winfield would never be repaired. In 1990, Winfield's career took another big turn when he was traded to the California Angels for pitcher Mike Witt. This change seemed to rejuvenate Winfield's career, and he soon found himself back on track. That same year, he was awarded the Sporting News Comeback Player of the Year award, a recognition of how well he had bounced back after his difficult years with the Yankees. But Winfield wasn't done yet. He had some remarkable moments left in his career. In June 1991, while playing against the Kansas City Royals, Winfield made history by hitting for the cycle in a single game. He went an incredible 5 for 5, a rare achievement in baseball, and it solidified his place as one of the game's true talents. He also reached a huge milestone that year, hitting his 400th career home run against the Minnesota Twins in his hometown, further proving that he still had plenty to offer. Even as he got older, Winfield wasn't slowing down. After his 40th birthday, he continued to be a productive player, and in December 1991, he signed with the Toronto Blue Jays. He joined the team as their designated hitter, but every now and then, he'd make one of his signature Winfieldian plays, taking the field and right. In the 1992 season, Winfield showed that he still had plenty of power left in his bat, hitting 290 with 26 home runs and 108 RBIs. He wasn't just a slugger, though. He was also a leader on the team, bringing his experience and calm presence to a young, talented Blue Jays squad. Winfield quickly became a fan favorite in Toronto. His leadership on and off the field was key in the Blue Jays' success that year. But one of the things that really stood out about him was his ability to connect with the fans. Toronto's crowd could sometimes be quiet, especially during the more tense moments of the season. Winfield didn't mind calling out the fans, and in August of 1992, he made a public plea for more noise. "Winfield wants noise" became a slogan that resonated with the Blue Jays fan base for the rest of the season. It even showed up on t-shirts, buttons, and signs throughout the stadium. Winfield's passion and enthusiasm were contagious, and the fans responded in kind. All of Winfield's leadership and contributions came to a head in the 1992 World Series, when the Blue Jays made it to the biggest stage in baseball. For Winfield, this was an opportunity for redemption. He had endured criticism for his postseason struggles earlier in his career, and now he was in position to prove himself once and for all. In Game 6 of the World Series, he became a hero for the Blue Jays. In the 11th inning, with the game tied, Winfield came to the plate and delivered a clutch two-run double-off Atlanta Braves pitcher Charlie Leibrandt. That hit proved to be the game winner, giving the Blue Jays their first-ever World Series championship. At 41 years old, Winfield's performance in the World Series was extraordinary. He became just the third oldest player in MLB history to hit an extra base hit in the World Series, trailing only the legendary Pete Rose and Enos Slaughter. His clutch hit not only gave Toronto the title, but also cemented his legacy as one of the greats in baseball history. Mr. J, as Winfield was now affectionately called, had finally redeemed his postseason reputation. After the 1992 season, Dave Winfield entered free agency once again and decided to sign with his hometown team, the Minnesota Twins. This was a big move for Winfield, as it allowed him to finish his career playing in the state where he had grown up. In 1993, at the age of 41, Winfield was still productive on the field. He played 143 games for the Twins, mostly as their designated hitter, and finished the season with a respectable 271 batting average, along with 21 home runs. It was clear that while Winfield was getting older, he was still capable of contributing to a major league team. But the most memorable moment of that year came on September 16, 1993, when he collected his 3,000th career hit. It was a milestone few players ever reach, and Winfield did it with a single off Oakland Athletics' legendary closer, Dennis Eckersley. It was a moment that cemented Winfield's place in baseball history as one of the game's true greats. Just a few days after that historic achievement, however, baseball was thrown into turmoil with the start of the 1994 strike. The strike began on August 12th, and soon after, Winfield was traded to the Cleveland Indians at the trade waiver deadline on August 31st. However, the 1994 season was already in jeopardy, and 2 weeks later, the season was halted entirely. The strike ultimately led to the cancellation of the rest of the season, including the playoffs. Winfield never got a chance to suit up for the Indians, and to make things even more bizarre, no player was ever named in exchange for him in the trade. This created an unusual situation where executives from both teams, Minnesota and Cleveland, met up for a dinner to settle the deal. In an odd twist, Winfield became the only player in Major League history to be traded for a dinner. Official records still list the transaction as Winfield being sold to the Indians by the Twins, but the dinner remains a quirky piece of baseball lore. After the strike was over, Winfield was granted free agency again in October. By April 1995, Winfield had re-signed with the Cleveland Indians, but it wasn't exactly a smooth return to the field. Winfield had suffered a rotator cuff injury, which kept him on the disabled list for much of the season. He only played in 46 games that year and batted a mere .191, But he was part of a historic team. The Indians won their first pennant in 41 years that season, but Winfield, due to his injury, wasn't able to participate in the postseason. It was a tough way to finish his playing career, but it didn't take away from the incredible legacy he had already built. By 1996, Winfield decided it was time to retire from playing baseball. However, his career was far from over, as his induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame was right around the corner. In 2001, in his very first year of eligibility, Winfield was inducted into the Hall of Fame. He went in as a San Diego Padre, which was a bit of a surprise for some people, particularly New York Yankees owner George Steinbrenner. Winfield had spent a good portion of his career with the Yankees, and their relationship had been rocky at times, especially during the infamous public feud over his contract. However, Winfield wasn't bitter. When asked about Steinbrenner, he gave a diplomatic response, acknowledging that the Yankees owner had expressed regret over their past issues. "We're fine now. Things have changed," Winfield said, showing that time had healed those old wounds. Winfield's connection to San Diego remained strong, and in 1998, he was inducted into the San Diego Hall of Champions. This Hall of Fame honored San Diego's finest athletes, both on and off the field. Then in 1999, Winfield earned another major recognition when he was ranked number 94 on the Sporting News list of baseball's greatest players. He was also nominated for the Major League Baseball All-Century Team, which was a huge honor for any player. His career was legendary, and these accolades were just further proof of his greatness. In 2000, Winfield was inducted into the San Diego Padres Hall of Fame, and the following year, the Padres did something special to honor his contributions to the team. They retired his number, 31, and displayed it at Petco Park, the Padres' new ballpark. That number 31 jersey remains one of the most iconic symbols in Padres history, a tribute to a player who helped build the foundation for the team's success. Winfield's influence didn't stop with his playing career. In 2006, he was inducted into the College Baseball Hall of Fame in its inaugural class. His contributions to the game were recognized at every level, from his college days to his legendary major league career. Winfield's impact on the game of baseball was undeniable, and in 2010, the Big Ten Network named him as its number 15 ranked Big Ten Conference icon. It was just another feather in his cap, acknowledging his lasting legacy both on the field and in the broader sports world. One of the biggest honors of Winfield's post-playing career came in 2016, when the MLB All-Star Game, held in San Diego at Petco Park, was dedicated to him. Winfield had represented the Padres in the first ever All-Star Game in San Diego, so it was only fitting that the 2016 game would honor him as a way of celebrating his long and distinguished career. It was a moment of recognition that Winfield truly deserved, as he had given so much to the game. In 2024, Winfield returned to Fairbanks, Alaska, where it all began for him as a young player for the Alaska Gold Panthers of Fairbanks. On June 21st, he was part of a special event that unveiled a bronze statue in his honor near Groton Park, where he had played many years ago. To top it off, Winfield threw out the ceremonial first pitch for the annual Midnight Sun game, a beloved tradition in Fairbanks that celebrates baseball under the midnight sun. It was a full-circle moment for Winfield, who had come so far from his humble beginnings in Alaska. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. Graig Nettles' autobiography continues to captivate readers, reigniting major controversies surrounding the New York Yankees. However, that wasn't the only drama of his career. His infamous cork bat incident also dealt a significant blow to his reputation. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. Back in 1984, Graig Nettles released his autobiography, Balls and Boy, Did It Shake Things Up? The book wasn't just any ordinary sports memoir. It was packed with some sharp and pretty bold comments about his old team, the New York Yankees. Nettles didn't hold back, especially when it came to George Steinbrenner, the team's powerful and often controversial owner. His words hit hard, like a fastball straight to the chest, and it wasn't long before the fallout began. Fans and players alike couldn't stop talking about it. The book caused quite a stir, stirring the pot of already complicated team dynamics and leaving some of his old relationships strained. For many, it felt like Nettles had pulled back the curtain on a side of the Yankees most people hadn't seen before, and not everyone was happy about it. During a game against the Detroit Tigers on September 7, 1974, Graig Nettles found himself at the center of an unforgettable moment when his bat shattered mid-swing. But instead of wood flying everywhere, out popped 6 super balls, bouncy, rubbery balls hidden inside. It was like something out of a prank, but Nettles insisted he had no idea what was inside the bat. He said a fan had given him the bat, and he didn't know it had been altered. The bat had clearly been corked, a practice meant to make it lighter and easier to swing, but also one that's strictly against the rules. Though Nettles wasn't tossed from the game, the discovery made headlines and sparked a lot of chatter about whether it compromised the integrity of the sport. It was a bizarre moment that left people wondering how something like that could happen right under everyone's noses. In 1984, during a game while he was playing for the San Diego Padres, Graig Nettles found himself at the center of another dramatic moment. After getting plunked by an intentional pitch from Atlanta Braves pitcher Donnie Moore, Nettles didn't just take it and walk to first base like most players would. Instead, he charged the mound with all his might, aiming to tackle Moore. The situation quickly spiraled out of control, igniting a full-blown bench-clearing brawl. It wasn't just a heated argument. Players from both teams were throwing punches, yelling and shoving each other. It really showcased how intense the emotions can run in baseball, especially when it feels personal. Nettles' reaction wasn't just about getting hit. It was about standing up for himself and sending a message. It was a reminder that beneath all the strategy and skill, there's a fierce competitive edge, and sometimes even a touch of violence when passions are running high. Speaking of his early life, Nettles graduated from San Diego High School in 1962 and soon after enrolled at San Diego State College on a basketball scholarship. He was a standout athlete, balancing his time between the Aztecs basketball and baseball teams. Nettles was a key player on both squads, showcasing his athletic versatility and commitment to his sports. In 1964 and 1965, during the summer months, he took his talents to Alaska, playing for the Alaska Gold Panthers in the Alaska Baseball League. There, Nettles really came into his own as a baseball player, helping to lead the team to not just one, but 2 league championships. His performance in Alaska was a testament to his dedication and skill, and it solidified his reputation as a rising star in the sport. These summers in Alaska were crucial in shaping his career and preparing him for the professional level that would come just a few years later. Drafted by the Minnesota Twins in the 4th round of the 1965 MLB draft, Nettles made his major league debut on September 6, 1967, as a pinch hitter for Jackie Hernandez. His first full season with the Twins came in 1969, where he played in 96 games, batting .222 with 7 home runs and 26 RBIs. However, in December 1969, he was traded along with Dean Chance, Ted Uhlaender, and another player to the Cleveland Indians in exchange for Luis Tiant and Stan Williams. Nettles played 3 seasons with the Indians, but tension with manager Ken Aspromonte led to his trade to the New York Yankees in 1972, along with Jerry Moses, in exchange for John Ellis, Charlie Spikes, Rusty Torres, and Jerry Kenney. Nettles' time with the Yankees was marked by significant accomplishments and controversies. He was named the American League Player of the Month for April 1974, after setting an AL record for home runs in a month with 11. Just a few days later, on September 7, 1974, he became infamous for using a bat with super balls hidden inside, a clear breach of the sport's rules. Despite the controversy, Nettles went on to have a stellar career with the Yankees, hitting .254 with an AL-leading 32 home runs and 93 RBIs in 158 games during the 1976 season. His most memorable years came in 1977 and 1978, when he won his first of 2 Gold Glove awards. Nettles batted .255 in 1977, setting career highs with 37 home runs and 107 RBIs, helping the Yankees clinch a World Series victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers. The following year, he earned his 2nd Gold Glove and helped lead the Yankees to back-to-back World Series championships. Nettles made a pivotal impact in Game 3 of the 1978 World Series at Yankee Stadium, making crucial defensive plays to halt potential run-scoring hits and secure a crucial win. In July 1980, Nettles hit his 267th career home run, becoming the all-time home run leader among AL third basemen. However, his career was hampered by hepatitis in 1980, limiting him to just 89 games. In the fall of 1982, Yankees owner George Steinbrenner's comments about Nettles' place in the twilight of his career fueled growing dissatisfaction, which was exacerbated when the Yankees acquired Toby Harrah in 1984 to platoon with Nettles at third base. Nettles, wanting to be closer to his San Diego home, arrived at spring training at the deadline before being traded to the Padres on March 30, 1984, for Dennis Rasmussen and a player to be named later. Nettles enjoyed his best years with the Padres, famously described his career with the Yankees by stating, "When I was a little boy, I wanted to be a baseball player and join the circus. With the Yankees, I have accomplished both." In 1984, he was involved in the infamous San Diego Padres-Atlanta Braves beanball game, charging the mound and attempting to tackle Braves pitcher Donnie Moore after getting hit intentionally. The Padres declined to offer him a contract after the 1986 season, making him a free agent. Nettles signed with the Braves for the 1987 season as a non-roster player, making the Braves' 24-man opening day roster. The Montreal Expos eventually purchased his contract in March 1988. Throughout his career, Nettles hit .248 with 390 home runs and 113 RBIs in 2,700 games. He maintained an impressive career fielding percentage of .964, a testament to his skill at the hot corner, third base. After retiring at the age of 43, Nettles took on coaching roles for both the Yankees and Padres. He first became eligible for the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1994, but received only 8.3% of the vote. His numbers rose slightly over the years, but never quite reached the Hall of Fame threshold. Nettles remains one of the best third basemen not in the Hall of Fame, boasting a 67.9 wins above replacement, according to Baseball Reference. There's still a possibility he could be elected through the Veterans Committee in the future. Nettles had an eventful post-playing career as well. In 1989, he managed and played for the St. Lucie Legends of the Senior Professional Baseball Association and also spent time with the Bradenton Explorers. In 1996, Nettles managed the Bakersfield Blaze of the California League, where the team finished with a record of 39-101. Nettles also served as a consultant for the television drama The Bronx is Burning, which chronicled the tumultuous 1977 season with the Yankees. In late November 2007, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and underwent surgery at Manhattan's Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in April 2008, following in his brother's footsteps, who was also dealing with the disease. Teammate Tommy John fondly remembered Nettles for his humor, describing him as the pressure valve of the team, the guy with the quick wit and sharp one-liners who could lighten the mood in the clubhouse. Nettles also wrote a controversial memoir titled Balls in collaboration with Peter Golenbach, where he didn't hold back on criticizing Steinbrenner and some of his teammates. This book, along with its advanced promotion, led to Nettles' trade back to his hometown San Diego Padres in March 1984. In 1991, Nettles was inducted into the San Diego Hall of Champions, joining the Breitbart Hall of Fame to honor San Diego's finest athletes, both on and off the playing field. Nettles holds the major league record for single-season assists by a third baseman, a record he still shares with Brooks Robinson for the second most assists all time. His .412 assists in 1971 broke the previous record of .405, set by Harlan Clift in 1937 and Robinson in 1967. In his first season as a New York Yankee in 1973, Nettles racked up 410 assists, surpassing Clete Boyer's franchise record of 396 from 1962. To this day, Nettles and Robinson are among the few players with 4 of the 6 400-assist seasons at third base in Major League history. Nettles made a name for himself in Major League Baseball with the Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Indians, and New York Yankees. He was known for his defensive skills at third base, setting the single-season record for assists in 1971. Nettles also faced his share of controversies, including the infamous corked bat incident and a brawl with Atlanta Braves pitcher Donnie Moore. Despite these challenges, Nettles enjoyed a successful career, earning 2 Gold Glove awards and playing a key role in the Yankees' back-to-back World Series victories in 1977 and 1978. With a career total of 390 home runs and 1,314 RBIs, Nettles left a lasting legacy on the field and remains one of the most notable players not yet inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Make sure to subscribe to Baseball Icons so that you never miss an update. Don Mattingly, a former professional baseball player and manager, saw his career hampered by persistent injuries, particularly debilitating back problems, which affected his performance and longevity in the game. Occasional attitude issues also created moments of controversy during his tenure. Despite these challenges, Mattingly remains a beloved figure in baseball, celebrated as a 6-time All-Star, 9-time Gold Glove winner, and the 1985 American League MVP. Known for his exceptional hitting and fielding, his legacy endures as one of the sport's most dedicated and talented players. Before we go any further, please subscribe to the channel. Oh, and do not forget to hit that like button. Mattingly's 1985 season started off with so much promise, but it quickly turned into a tough challenge due to persistent back problems. These injuries not only limited his time on the field, but also affected his performance when he did play. Fans and critics alike began to wonder if the Donnie baseball they knew was struggling to keep up. There were even whispers questioning his work ethic and dedication. Was he really putting in the effort to fight through the pain and get back to his best? For a player as talented and respected as Mattingly, those doubts must have stung. But anyone who followed his career closely knew that Mattingly was as hardworking as they came. Despite the setbacks, his commitment to the game never wavered, and he continued to push himself to contribute to his team. This tough period became part of the story that shaped him, not just as a great player, but as someone who fought through adversity. When Mattingly was named captain of the Yankees in 1988, it was a huge honor, but it also came with big responsibilities. Mattingly was known for leading by example. He let his work ethic, hustle, and determination on the field do most of the talking. But as captain, he knew he had to step into a more vocal role, and that meant sometimes holding his teammates accountable. He wasn't afraid to speak up, challenge his teammates, or push them to give their best. While this approach earned him respect from some, it wasn't always smooth sailing. Not everyone appreciated his more demanding style, and it occasionally caused friction in the clubhouse. Some players may have felt he was too tough or that he crossed the line. These moments of tension didn't define Mattingly, though. They were a sign of how much he cared about the team and its success. He wasn't content with mediocrity. He wanted the Yankees to win, and he was willing to take on the weight of that leadership, even if it meant ruffling a few feathers along the way. Mattingly's coaching journey has been full of challenges, with each stop presenting unique obstacles. While managing the Los Angeles Dodgers, he often found himself under the microscope. One major criticism was how he handled the pitching staff. Fans and analysts alike felt that he was too hesitant to make in-game changes, especially when things weren't going as planned. This led some to question whether he had the adaptability and decisiveness needed to thrive in the high-stakes environment of MLB management. Even with a talented roster, the Dodgers fell short of their ultimate goals, and Mattingly's leadership was frequently a topic of debate. When he moved on to the Miami Marlins, the spotlight didn't get any dimmer. Leading a team with its own struggles, Mattingly faced criticism for the Marlins' lack of postseason success. Questions arose about his ability to inspire and connect with players, as some felt his communication style wasn't effective in motivating the team or fostering a winning culture. His interactions with the media were also sometimes viewed as guarded or overly reserved, adding to the perception that he wasn't fully in sync with his role. Now in his role as the bench coach for the Toronto Blue Jays, Mattingly has taken a step back from the top job. But that doesn't mean the pressure has disappeared. Some fans and analysts have expressed doubts about his impact on the team. In this supporting role, his contributions are less visible, which has led to speculation about his overall value to the coaching staff. Is he providing the insight and leadership that a veteran like him is expected to bring? Or is he struggling to make a noticeable difference? Despite these critiques, Mattingly's deep knowledge of the game and years of experience keep him in the conversation as one of baseball's respected figures. He's a man who's seen the highs and lows of both playing and managing, and his story continues to evolve. Mattingly showed early signs of being a special talent. Growing up, his natural athleticism and dedication to sports made him stand out. Interestingly, he was ambidextrous, which gave him a unique advantage. In Little League Baseball, he showcased his versatility, pitching and playing first base while throwing both right-handed and left-handed. He was part of the 1973 Great Scott Little League Championship team in Evansville. This was just the beginning of a remarkable baseball journey. Mattingly continued to shine as he advanced to American Legion Baseball, where he played for Funkhauser Postler Marriott. There, he primarily played second base and threw right-handed, further proving his adaptability on the field. But it was during his high school years at Wrights Memorial High School that Mattingly truly made a name for himself. Playing for the Tigers, he led his team to unprecedented success, including a state record 59 consecutive wins between the 1978 and 1979 seasons. The Tigers claimed the state championship in 1978 and came close to repeating the feat in 1979, finishing as the runner-up. Mattingly's individual achievements were equally impressive. In 1979, he was awarded the prestigious L.V. Phillips Mental Attitude Award, recognizing not only his skills, but also his character and sportsmanship. He was named All-City, All-Southern Indiana Athletic Conference, and All-State in both 1978 and 1979. Across his high school career, Mattingly put up eye-popping numbers, batting an incredible .463. Under his leadership, the Tigers achieved a near unbeatable record of 94-91 over 4 years. To this day, Mattingly holds several school records, including hits, doubles, triples, RBIs, and runs scored. His 25 career triples remain an Indiana State record, a testament to his speed and ability to find gaps in the defense. Beyond baseball, Mattingly excelled in other sports. He was a multi-sport athlete, playing basketball and football in addition to baseball. In 1978, he earned a spot on the SIAC All-Conference basketball team, showcasing his talent on the court. After an incredible high school career, Mattingly was offered a scholarship to play baseball at Indiana State University for the Sycamores. While his time in college was brief due to his eventual path to professional baseball, his achievements in Evansville left a legacy that continues to inspire young athletes from his hometown. Mattingly's journey to the big leagues wasn't the typical story of an early-round draft pick destined for stardom. In fact, he lasted all the way to the 19th round of the 1979 MLB drafts before being selected by the New York Yankees. Many teams had passed on him because of a statement made by his father, Bill Mattingly, who told MLB teams that Don planned to honor his college commitment and wouldn't sign a professional contract. But the truth was, Don wasn't particularly interested in attending college. His love for baseball and the dream of playing professionally won out, and he signed with the Yankees, earning a $23,000 signing bonus, a decision that would set him on the path to greatness. Mattingly's professional career began humbly in minor league baseball with the Winfield Yankees of the Class A short season New York Penn League in 1979. Like many ambitious young players, he set high goals for himself, even hoping to bat an incredible .500 in his debut season. While he didn't hit that mark, his .349 batting average was nothing to scoff at, and he proved to be a consistent and reliable hitter, never letting his average dip below .340 during that season. In 1980, Mattingly took another step forward with the Greensboro Hornets of the Class A South Atlantic League. His bat came alive, leading the league with an impressive .358 batting average and racking up a league-best 177 hits. His outstanding performance earned him the League MVP award and a spot on the postseason All-Star team, solidifying his reputation as one of the Yankees' most promising prospects. By 1981, Mattingly was playing for the AA Nashville Sounds in the Southern League, where he continued to shine. He hit .316 for the season and led the league with 35 doubles, showing his knack for making solid contact and finding gaps in the defense. Once again, he was recognized for his efforts, earning a spot in the Southern League All-Star Game and being named to its postseason All-Star team. Despite his success at the plate, there were some concerns about Mattingly's game. Scouts and coaches questioned his speed and his power potential, wondering if his hitting alone would be enough to carry him to the majors. In 1982, while playing for the AAA Columbus Clippers in the International League, Mattingly kept making his case for a promotion to the Yankees. He batted an impressive .325, earning a spot on the league's postseason All-Star team and finishing third in the voting for International League MVP. Late that season, Mattingly's consistent performance finally paid off, and he was called up to the majors, marking the beginning of a legendary MLB career. Mattingly's major league journey officially began on September 8, 1982, when he made his debut for the New York Yankees. He came in as a late-inning defensive replacement against the Baltimore Orioles. A few days later, on September 11th, he stepped up for his first at-bat against the Milwaukee Brewers, but it ended in a pop-out to third base. Then on October 1st, he finally had a moment to remember. In the bottom of the 11th inning, facing the Boston Red Sox, Mattingly notched his first career hit, a single to right field off pitcher Steve Crawford. While he only managed 2 hits in 12 at-bats that season, it was just the start of what would become an incredible career. In 1984, Mattingly stepped into the spotlight as the Yankees' full-time first baseman, and he made the most of the opportunity. He batted an outstanding .339 that year, earning a spot as a reserve in the All-Star game. But the highlight of the season was his dramatic race for the American League batting title against his own teammate, Dave Winfield. Heading into the final game of the season, Mattingly trailed Winfield by a razor-thin margin, just 2 points. On the last day, Mattingly delivered an incredible performance, going 4 for 5, while Winfield went 1 for 4. Mattingly edged out his teammate to win the batting title with a .343 average, compared to Winfield's .340. Mattingly didn't just win the batting crown that year, he dominated in almost every offensive category. He led the league in hits with 207 and doubles with 44, showcasing his ability to make consistent consistent, hard contact. He also hit 23 home runs and drove in 110 RBIs, finishing second in slugging percentage and fourth in total bases. His ability to avoid strikeouts was impressive too, as he ranked second in the league in at-bats per strikeout. By the end of the season, Mattingly had firmly established himself as one of baseball's best hitters. If 1984 was his breakout year, 1985 was the season that turned Mattingly into a superstar. He followed up his incredible performance with an MVP winning campaign that fans still talk about. Mattingly hit .324, smacked 35 home runs, and drove in a league-best 145 RBIs, a number no left-handed hitter had reached since the legendary Ted Williams in 1949. His 21 RBI lead over the next closest player was the largest margin in the American League since 1953. Mattingly also led the league in doubles with 48, total bases with 370, and extra base hits with 86. He was second in hits, second in slugging percentage, and third in intentional walks. His ability to produce in clutch moments was unmatched, batting an incredible .354 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Whether it was delivering a key hit, driving in runs, or finding the gap for extra bases, Mattingly was the heart of the Yankees offense. Known for his stellar defense, Mattingly won 9 Gold Gloves, even playing briefly at positions like second and third base, despite being a lefty thrower, a rarity in baseball. In 1985, he had one of his best seasons, setting franchise records and leading the league in hits, doubles, and RBIs. By 1987, Mattingly was rewriting record books, hitting home runs in 8 straight games and smacking 6 grand slams in a single season, still a shared MLB record. But injuries, especially back problems, began taking a toll. His power numbers dipped after 1990, though he remained a consistent hitter and defensive anchor. Mattingly finally reached the playoffs in 1995, delivering an emotional performance with clutch hits and a memorable home run. Sadly, it wasn't enough, as the Yankees fell to Seattle in the ALDS. After the season, Mattingly retired, just missing the Yankees championship run in 1996. Even though Mattingly never won a World Series with the Yankees, the team still honored his legacy by retiring his number 23. In fact, he's the only Yankee to have his number retired without a championship ring. It's a testament to his impact on the team and his place in Yankee history. After retiring, Mattingly stayed involved in baseball, first as a special instructor for the Yankees, then as their hitting coach. Under his guidance, the Yankees set a franchise record with 242 home runs in 2004. He later became the bench coach, but didn't get the Yankees managerial job in 2007, which went to Joe Girardi. Mattingly then moved to the Dodgers, where he served as hitting coach and later a special assignment coach. He played a key role in the Dodgers' back-to-back NL Championship Series appearances in 2008 and 2009. In 2022, Mattingly joined the Toronto Blue Jays as bench coach and was promoted to offensive coordinator in 2024. However, after that season, his role returned to bench coach. When Joe Torre retired at the end of the 2010 season, Mattingly became the Dodgers' new manager. He got some managerial experience by leading the Phoenix Desert Dogs in the Arizona Fall League that same year. Mattingly's debut as Dodgers manager was a 2-1 win over the San Francisco Giants in 2011. Despite a tough start to 2013, Mattingly helped the team bounce back, winning the NL West and reaching the NLCS, though they lost to the Cardinals. He finished second in Manager of the Year voting that season. In 2014, Mattingly signed a 3-year extension with the Dodgers and led them to the playoffs 3 straight years. However, after the 2015 season, he and the team mutually agreed to part ways. Mattingly then became the manager of the Miami Marlins in 2016. In his first year, he helped the Marlins win 79 games, their best record in years, and in 2020, he led them to the playoffs for the first time since 2003, earning NL Manager of the Year honor. After the 2022 season, Mattingly stepped down from his managerial role with the Marlins. Mattingly wasn't the fastest or the most powerful player, but his pure hitting ability and commitment to improvement made him stand out at every level. It's a story of perseverance that resonates with baseball fans and aspiring athletes alike. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Make sure to subscribe to Baseball Icons so that you never miss an update. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check this one out too.